You are not just another hustling salesperson. You are the expert, the resource, the valuable partner for your clients. And how you grow your business should reflect how your clients see you. Welcome to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. We generate referrals without asking, build positive client experiences, and help you take control of your business. Here's your charmingly sarcastic host, Stacey Brown Randall.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 147 of the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Brown Randall. Okay, so for the last few episodes, we have been really digging in deep to the 6 layers of your referral strategy. So if you go back and listen to some prior episodes, you'll hear us dig into the first 2 layers, layer 1 and layer 2, because for this episode, we're actually going to dig into layers 3 and 4. So let me back up and kind of break this down for you. Now, here's the thing. The best thing that you can do is download the visual that lays this out for you on one piece of paper, and it's called, of course, the layering strategy. And it really is just a visualization of how these 6 layers fit together. So just go to stacybrownrandall.com/layers and you can download the PDF. Or of course, you can go to the show notes page for this episode, which is stacybrownrandall.com/147. And of course, Stacey has an E. Now, if you're looking at this visual, you'll notice that the 6 layers are made up of 2 plans and 4 language tactics. On the left side, you'll see the 2 referral plans that I say everybody has to have. Layer number 1, of course, is that first referral plan, which is for our existing referral sources, and layer number 2, which is for the referral plan to have for our potential referral sources. Now, if you want to go back to listen to previous episodes where I dig into layer number 1, which is for our existing referral sources, meaning people who have referred you before, then go back and listen to episode 138 and 139. Now, when I dig in to talk about potential referral sources, which is layer number 2, the second plan I want you to have in place, which means having a plan in place of how you take those clients and centers of influence that you wish were referring you and actually follow a process to turn them into real, live, active referral sources, meaning giving you referrals, then I want you to go back and listen to episode 141 and 142. And I encourage you to listen to both episodes for layer number 1, 138 and 139, layer number 2, 141 and 142, because not only do I break it down for you, I then interview on the follow-up episode a student in the Growth by Referrals program talking about what it was like for them to put that layer into practice. So you're going to listen to them talk about how it worked for them, where the light bulb moments were, what kind of the experience was, and then of course the success that they had from it, because that's important for you to understand that their experience can be your experience, knowing the type of success that they had. So that's the left side of our 6 layers, where the 2 layers that I really tell folks, guys, this is where you have to start, layer 1 and layer 2. But there are 4 more layers within our referral strategy when we break it down to those 6 layers. Now we're talking about the right side of the page. Now, literally think about, if you guys download this, you'll see it. You'll see the 2 boxes to the left where it says layer number 1, layer number 2, referral plans. And then you'll look at the right side and it'll have layer 3, 4, 5, and 6, and it'll say language tactics as the header at the top. So you'll see that when you guys download the layering or the layers PDF. So, and again, to download that, go to stacybrownrandall.com/layers. But we're moving into the right side of this visual, the right side of how I think about and how I then teach your overall referral strategy. And this is really 4 key language tactics. That's really what this is. Now, are there many tactics within each of these 4 overall language tactics? Yes. Is some of this a little bit more robust than just, hey, learn this one thing to say? Of course. But when you really think about these overall 4 additional layers, it is a tool in your toolbox. It is the ability to be in a moment and know which tool, meaning referral seed, to pull out, to be able to plant referral seeds and to start the process of hoping to get somebody to start referring you. So I'm going to walk you through actually layers 3 and 4 for this episode because they deal with the same common topic or the same common person. That's what I should have said. So layers 3 and 4 are really about your prospects. So let me quickly define prospects so we're all on the same page. So a prospect is somebody who's considering working with you. So they have not said yes yet. Sometimes they're called a lead. Sometimes they're called a prospective new client. Lots of times they're just called a prospect. That's what we call them in our world. That's the language you guys have heard me use for years and years and years. And so a prospect is somebody who knows about your business and is determining if they want to work with you. This isn't everybody who could hire you or could work with you or could purchase from you. This is people who've actually shown an interest in learning a little bit more. And as you know, as we are building our businesses, we are always on the hunt for more prospects. It's why we have a sales strategy. It's why our sales strategy is prospecting, marketing, and referrals. And it's why we have activities that we do within those 3 plans that help us grow our business. We want more prospects to come to our business so that we have a chance to convert them, to lead them along the way to saying yes to hiring us. So remember, as we're talking about prospects, this group of people within layer 3 and layer 4, we're talking about people who have not said yes to working with you. They're considering it. They're in that consideration phase. So sometimes, again, called a lead, prospective new client. For the purposes of what I use, we just call them prospects. And there are 2 types of prospects for our purposes within our layered strategy. Number 1 are for prospects that are referred to us. So that is layer number 3, which is what we do for prospects that are referred to us. They're called referred prospects. Layer number 4 is for that second group, which is our non-referred prospects. So let me dive into exactly how I define referred prospects versus non-referred prospects. Though as I say it out loud, I realize it's very self-explanatory, but I just want to give some examples to be clear. So a referred prospect is obviously what we're ultimately after. That is the referral, right? That is the referred prospect who has been referred to you by someone else, one of your referral sources. So I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but like I have a referral source, Paul, right, who refers people to me. And so the person he's referring to me is, of course, the referred prospect. Now, on the other side of that, there are non-referred prospects. There are people who come into my business. There's people who come into your business. There's people who come into everybody's business that don't come by referral. That's okay, right? That's not a bad thing at all. Now, you guys know on the referral side, I want your referrals to be the biggest piece of the pie of how prospects come into your business, how those prospects who then become clients come into your business. I want them. I want you getting as many referrals as you want. But we also have to recognize there are other ways that prospects are going to find you. So if you think about the other ways that prospects come to you, we group all of those other ways together and we just call it non-referred. So you've got your referred prospects and then you've got your non-referred prospects. And with that non-referred prospects, that could be somebody comes in through a Facebook ad. Somebody sees a billboard, if you do billboards in your business for advertising. Somebody reads an article that you had published because you got some earned media or some PR. Maybe you met them at a networking event. Maybe you made a cold call to them. Maybe they heard you speak. Maybe they heard you on a podcast. These are all ways that people can hear about you and make a decision they want to learn more about you. And that's when they become a prospect for you. They're just not referred because somebody else didn't refer them to you. They found you through another mechanism. They found you through another vehicle. They found you through another source. So for our purposes, though, of thinking about this from a referral strategy perspective, we break these prospects into 2 groups. You were either referred or you weren't. So referred prospects, layer number 3, non-referred prospects, layer number 4. And we really do group everybody else in that non-referred prospects, depending on how they come to you. Okay. Now, within layer number 3, with those referred prospects, there is a very specific script. It's called the closing script. There's a very specific script that I teach in Module 6 for my Growth by Referral students. You guys should know where this is, and hopefully you're using this script so that this is the script that you use when you're meeting with your referred prospect for the first time. It's sometimes we refer to it as the closing script. Sometimes we also call it the first meeting script, but it's the script you use and it's the language that you use and the referral seeds that you plant that actually allow that prospect, because they've been referred to you, to close themselves. It's some very, very powerful language. Actually, one of my favorite stories to tell is a wealth manager with Oppenheimer out of New York who was going through the Growth by Referrals program. He gravitated towards that one particular script. He was like, I need more referrals and I definitely want to focus on getting more referrals, but I also want to be able to close the people that are being referred to me. And this script is perfect. So he followed the script to a T. Obviously, guys, this is something that I teach and is given to my Growth by Referral students. But he followed the script to a T and he closed both of those prospects that he used this script on that I teach, this first meeting script or closing script. He used it on the next two prospects that were referred to him, because you can't use it on someone who's not referred to you. But he used it on the people who referred to him, and he closed $12 million in assets under management, just like that. Whoop. I was like, what's the ROI for investing in the Growth by Referrals program to then what you're ultimately going to make as you manage that $12 million? He was like, I don't know, like thousands and thousands and thousands of percent year over year over year, right? So there is a very specific way that I teach and the idea of a language tactic with your referral seeds when it comes to your referred prospects. And it only works for referred prospects. It doesn't work for folks who weren't referred to you. It wouldn't fit, right? So there is a very specific way that I teach my Growth by Referral students. For those of you listening, GBR students, because I know a lot of you do, Module 6 is where you can find that first meeting script. And I think it's really, really powerful for you to have that tool in your toolbox. But there are other things we have to consider within that overall language tactics for layer number 3 and layer number 4. And there is one thing that I teach that they both have in common. And so what I always tell folks is for both of these language pieces, right, for both of the language within referred prospects and non-referred prospects that you need to learn is to focus on planting referral seeds during the prospect's buyer's journey. Okay, so I'm going to break down the buyer's journey in case you've never heard that before, because I think that's important as well. So let me break down the buyer's journey and kind of where it fits within the sales or prospecting funnel, pipeline, whatever you call it for yourself. I'll break down this buyer's journey because even though there's a very specific script, that first meeting script that I teach my GBR students for referred prospects, and that's only something you can do for referred prospects. The other piece of this within both layers, layer number 3 and layer number 4, referred and non-referred prospects, is the language that you use to planting those referral seeds during the buyer's journey, because that's when the prospect is actually a prospect. And so you need to understand really what the buyer's journey is and all of a sudden understand where the buyer's journey fits within your overall pipeline or funnel. And I'll walk you through what that looks like and then kind of an idea of what this language piece is. So first, let me start by defining the buyer's journey. So the buyer's journey is defined, and this is just the way I define it. If you were to Google buyer's journey, this is quite similar to how a lot of people define the buyer's journey, but everyone's is going to probably sound a little bit different, right? I mean, everybody takes something the way they teach it and then they kind of shift it for their purposes. But the overall way that I define the buyer's journey, it's the decision-making process that your prospect goes through as they're considering saying yes or no to you. So it could be the times where they're meeting with you. It could be the times where they're following up, asking questions. It could be the times where you're following up to give additional information. It's their time where they're actually sitting and thinking, okay, do I want to make this investment in this company? Do I want this person to be my attorney? Do I want this person to be my financial advisor? Is this the entire interior designer that I ultimately want to hire? Will it fit within my budget? All those things is in that moment where your prospect is making a decision to buy. They're on a journey making a decision to buy or to purchase, hence the name buyer's journey. Now, I believe in the way that I teach it is that your buyer's journey fits right in the middle of your overall prospecting or sales funnel. So I'm going to put a visual of this in the show notes page because I just put a picture on the show notes page so you guys can see it. It's just a 3-part funnel or pipeline, whatever you want to call it. For those of you who are like, okay, I've never really learned it this way, and you need that visualization, you can just hop over to the show notes page at stacybrownrandall.com /147, and you'll be able to kind of see what this funnel pipeline thing she's talking about. But I want you to literally think about an inverted pyramid, or I want you to think about an actual funnel that you use in the kitchen when you're getting lots of liquid into a smaller container, right? And it's got a smaller opening. And so when you think about what this ultimately looks like for your funnel or a pipeline, right? It literally is like an inverted pyramid. And at the top is the widest piece, and it's called awareness. And that's where the sources drop your prospects in. That's where they start from that awareness factor of understanding that you even exist, and where they're figuring out that they even have a problem. Their need is being identified. So that's, if you think about pouring something into the top of the funnel, at the very top of that funnel, we're pouring in the awareness factor. So it could be coming through a Facebook ad, and they're becoming to have awareness around a problem that you can solve, or they see a print advertisement, or they see you speak on stage, and now they're aware that you're even out there, that you could even help them, that you could even help them solve their case, right? Help them solve their problems, help them sell their house, whatever it is. So that awareness factor is that first layer. And that is them becoming aware that they have a problem, but at the same time becoming aware that you can solve that problem. Once they're aware of you and they're dropped into your funnel by whatever source it is, cold call, cold email, speaking engagement, podcast interview, print ad, Facebook online ad, referral, right? However they drop into that awareness phase, when they move past the awareness of identifying in themselves that they have a problem and that you exist to solve the problem, then they move into the second piece, which is the overall buyer's journey. And I believe it's the biggest section, because it takes the longest amount of time within your overall sales funnel or prospecting funnel, this pipeline, this funnel that you're thinking about. So again, if you're like, I get it, but I'm kind of confused because Stacey, I'm on the treadmill right now, right? Or I'm cutting the grass, or whatever it is that you're doing. I'm out on a walk, or you're driving in your car and you're like, I'm a little confused. Just remember, you can go over to the show notes page and actually see a picture, a visual of this image. And so if you think about awareness drops you into the buyer's journey is in the middle. And again, it is where people are making the decision to hire you. It's the meetings they have with you, the communication they have with you. It's where they're thinking through, is this the right decision? They're figuring out the budget. How do I make this work? It doesn't matter what you're selling, product or service. It matters is figuring out if you're the one they're going to say yes to. So I believe everybody has the same buyer's journey, in terms of it's where the buyer makes a decision to say yes to hiring you or to yes to buying your product. But how long somebody sits in the buyer's journey has everything to do about what you do. So everybody goes through a buyer's journey when they're making the decision to purchase something. My buyer's journey for deciding that I need to go buy some new shampoo and conditioner is probably nanoseconds, right? My buyer's journey, because I've decided that we're going to sell our home and buy a new one, that probably is a much longer buyer's journey process. So every buyer, every prospect goes through a buyer's journey before they say yes to hiring you. How long they sit in the buyer's journey, though, is completely indicative on what you do and how your process works, and then what your industry standards are as well. Most of the time, though, within that buyer's journey, there is where they are talking to you. They're meeting with you. You're talking to them about saying yes to you. You're helping them figure out, can I help solve your problem? Am I the right person to solve your problem? Right? Let me help you identify and completely get clear or clarity on your problem, because you're helping them get to a place where they come to the very bottom of the funnel, which is the close section. And it is a yes or a no. And sometimes it's a not now. So when they get through the buyer's journey, they make a decision. And at that point that they make a decision, then they drop into the close section of your funnel or your pipeline, that inverted pyramid, right? It's got 3 sections in it: awareness, buyer's journey, close. And when they get to the bottom of the close, it's them just making a decision. Yes, I'm going to hire you. No, I am not. Or no, not now, maybe later. And those are the decisions they come out with. And so they come into the top of your funnel from awareness perspective. It's pretty quickly that they become aware of you, right? It may take them a little bit longer to go into the buyer's journey to actually have conversations with you and make a decision to hire you. But when they make that decision, they're done with their buyer's journey and they come out the funnel, they come out the pipeline, and they've closed into a yes paying client or into a no, not now, or no, never non-client, right? So they stay a prospect and it becomes a prospect you did not land. So that's how the buyer's journey fits within the overall sales or prospecting funnel. And then that is how the buyer's journey works. Again, an image of this is on the show notes page. Now, when we're talking about this from a referral strategy. And we're looking at this as layers 3 and 4, the referral seeds that you plant, the language tactics that you use for those referred prospects, layer number 3, non-referred prospects, layer number 4. This all comes down to the seeds, the referral seeds, the language that you use while the prospect is in the buyer's journey. Now, here is an easy one to always plant. If your prospect was referred to you, please remind them of it. Okay? Super easy one to plant, right? Now, this is different from the first meeting or closing script that I teach in the GBR program. This is one for like everybody. Like if you were talking with a prospect who has been referred to you, the easiest referral seed to plant in that moment is to remind them that they were referred to you. Because the truth is, people who were referred to you are typically, not always, but typically more comfortable referring others to you, as long as they like your client experience and they like working with you and things go well, or when things don't go well, you fix them and make them right and give them that warm, fuzzy feeling throughout their process of saying yes to being a client. So that's an easy one, right? But if somebody's not referred to you, of course, the easy seed of like reminding them that they were referred to you, right, is to be able to kind of know how to have that language seed, that language tactic to talk about, referrals from the perspective of business. Now, you guys know in my book, I talk about the how's business question that you can always be prepared to answer, because in most conversations, even in a first conversation with a non-referred or a referred prospect, you are going to get the question, so how's it going? Nice to meet you. How's it going? How's business? And you can always plant, as you guys know, we talk about this in chapter 10 of my book, Generating Business Referrals Without Asking, the how we plant referral seeds in the how's business question. But the buyer's journey does give you more opportunities to dig in deeper to planting other referral seeds. But here's the thing I want you to understand. You cannot hit them over the head with this constantly. You cannot be like every 5 seconds and referrals. And like you can't be trying to plant a referral seed like every 5 seconds. It's ridiculous. Okay. This is more of a subtlety and this is more of your discernment. Once you know what all the language pieces are, this is about your ability to actually use them appropriately within the conversation that you are having and within the correct context of the conversation you are having. But the language tactic we need to understand when we are dealing with prospects, whether referred or not referred, is within that buyer's journey. Of course, there are certain things we can do for referred prospects that make it easier to plant a referral seed. And of course, not as easy, but still completely doable to plant referral seeds with those not referred to us, those non-referred prospects. But let me break this down for you and help you clearly see what I'm talking about in terms of your options. You have 2 options when you are trying to generate referrals from a prospect. Remember, this is a prospect who has not said yes to you yet. By prospect, by definition, they are not a new client. They have not said yes. They are in the awareness or the buyer's journey phase. They have yet to hit the close section of saying yes to working with you. So you have 2 options. The first option is to come directly at them and ask for a referral. And there are lots of people out there in the world today that will teach you the language to use in their scripts for exactly how to ask somebody who's not even your own client, how to ask somebody for a referral. You're here listening to this podcast because for most of you, that makes your stomach churn and your toes curl. And you're like, oh no, I don't want to have to ask that prospect for a referral. But let's be honest, it is one of your options. If it's not the option you want to use because it doesn't make you feel good, it doesn't make them feel good. And guys, I've talked about this so many times about the psychological impact that asking for a referral has on somebody, particularly somebody who's not even working with you yet, hasn't even said yes to you yet. I would say that's probably not the best way to go about getting referrals from a prospect, is to directly ask them. But again, it is one of your options. The other option is to learn how to plant those referral seeds while they're in the buyer's journey, while you're nurturing them into a paying client, right? And to learn how to use the right language so that you're just planting the seeds of potential referrals in the future, but you're never directly asking. So you're maintaining respect for the relationship that you're developing with this prospect and respect for them as a human. And you're keeping yourself in a place where you feel comfortable with the language you're using, those referral seeds, so you'll actually use them. The problem with the asking advice, asking a prospect to refer you, is that if you're uncomfortable with it, you don't do it well. We all know that. It's one of the reasons why the majority of us, hopefully all of you guys listening to this podcast, like run away from the ask. It's why I do, right? It's just why I created a different way to get to the results I wanted without having to do something that makes me feel uncomfortable and make other people feel uncomfortable. It's what my whole growth by referral system is built around, this whole concept of referrals without asking. But that means there's work to do and there's tactics for you to learn and there's things you need to understand. You need to develop these tools in your toolbox. And that, of course, is the referral seed language, the language tactics that you would use specifically for layer number 3 and layer number 4, which is what you're going to do and say when you're in the buyer's journey. Now, of course, these are just 2 of the tools in your toolbox. We've still got layer number 5 and layer number 6 that we will get to as well. But I wanted you to understand what this looks like when we're talking about the 6 layers of our referral strategy, from the 2 plans in layer 1 and layer 2. And then as we move through layer 3 through layer 6, it really does come down to those language tactics. Now, again, if you need the visual for the 6 layers and you want that 1-page PDF to like download and keep it somewhere, right, in a digital file as your wallpaper, that would be pretty awesome. If you take this PDF and you make it your wallpaper as the image on your computer, will you please send me a screenshot of that? I would love to see it, or a picture on your phone of your desktop. But put it into a folder, print it out, put it on your desk, whatever you need to do to be able to see these 6 layers so you can understand how they work, and then understanding which ones you don't know how to do, what are your gaps, and maybe you need to learn about those, right? Again, you can download the layers PDF, that 1-page PDF of all 6 layers, the visual, at stacybrownrandall.com/147. So you can definitely download that as well. And then you'll also see the image of the prospecting funnel or sales funnel, sales pipeline. If you've never heard it described the way I described it, as that inverted pyramid or that actual like kitchen funnel, you can go see the image of that as well on the show notes page. And you guys know I would love for you to share your thoughts on this episode in our Referrals Without Asking Facebook group. It is always great to see your feedback, to see where your aha moments are, where your light bulb moments, what questions come up for you, what do you need to know, and to really be able to start putting these things into action. Okay, I have a favor to ask as we wrap up today's episode. I am coming up on my 150th episode. I know, it's crazy, right? I'm like 2 episodes away. We're going to hit 150 episodes. That's every single Tuesday for 150 weeks that I have produced and launched or released, right, a new episode into the world. It's so crazy. And for my 150th episode, I would love to see some brand new reviews pop up wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that is in iTunes, it is in Stitcher, it is on Spotify. We're like in 16 places. I think Andy, my editor, told me like, okay, we have got your podcast showing up in all the places where you can listen to podcasts. It's like in 16 places out there in the world. We're even on YouTube. You actually can go to my YouTube channel and you actually can listen to the podcast on YouTube. Like, it's everywhere. So wherever you're listening to these episodes, would you please leave a review? I'm hoping to get some new reviews. I'm not even putting a number on it, right? Just putting it out there into the universe, hoping to get some new reviews in celebration of hitting 150 episodes. And I'm going to be honest with you, of course, I would prefer your 5-star review and a very, very positive one as well. So your 5-star rating and a very positive review. But obviously, whatever you do, just make sure it's honest. Okay, coming up next week is episode 148, and we are going to break down layer number 5, which is specifically what we do about new clients. And this is actually going to start us on a new series and a new focus for the podcast as well, because there's some things we need to understand about our clients in general when it comes to being referable, but specifically layer number 5 focuses on those new clients. So until then, take control and grow your business. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. To access all resources and links mentioned in today's show and to connect with Stacy, head over to www.stacybrownrandall.com.